Good morning, Matt. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Raymond D. Harari. I am the CEO and co-founder of Argentina Metals Corp. Argentina Metals Corp trades in the TSX venture. The ticker is VLLC. And we have consolidated a package of around 146,000 hectares completely royalty-free. And we're doing early stage copper exploration in the province of Mendoza.
Right, good to see you. And I see you're joined by a colleague as well. Who's this?
Yes, we have Enrique Reichhard. He's our VP of exploration for Argentina Metals.
Enrique, lovely to meet you. Look, right, I think it's probably important that you maybe describe exactly what you're trying to be. You know, 146,000 hectares is a lot of land. So what are you exactly going to do with this?
So we started with a thesis that Argentina had a special opportunity considering not only being so close to Chile, but the political changes that we're seeing happening in country. So we started looking within Argentina what opportunities are where, and Mendoza really struck a chord where we saw a province that was keen on really advancing mineral exploration, and that has been pretty underexplored over the last few decades, considering it was a closed-off industry that recently opened up. So we're trying to take advantage of first mover advantage to get in there, get a large package, hopefully before there's a discovery. So once the re-rate happens, we have enough to work with.
Okay, and look, you talk about being in some reconnaissance mode effectively. So you're gonna have to have people who can actually get after the data, create data, make value judgments, and then allocate capital after that. So can you tell me a bit about the team working with you, active members of the team, if you don't mind?
Sure. So our chairman and co-founder Titus Gebel is one of the co-founders of Deutsche Rohstoff in Europe. He left that company about 10 years ago and founded Amontes Holding AG, a Liechtenstein-based fund who is our anchor shareholder and largest shareholder of the company. Titus brings sort of corporate, strategic, and experience figuring out how to consolidate a portfolio and put an asset together. He's a great ally. We have Martin Hoff, his associate, who also joins us on the board. And then on the board we have Julio Pulisic, who is based in Mendoza, originally from there. He's an accountant by trade, and he's been in Mendoza for a while, knows who's who and who you need to know, and make sure our permits and projects are all well in place. We also have Tim Heenan. He's a geologist, CEO of Mirasol Resources, also based out of Mendoza. Both him and Julio were vendors of projects. They took a significant portion of their compensation in shares because they believe in the company and they stayed involved and added value. We have also here Enrique Reichhard, who joined us as our VPX, and he's helping us really craft a strategy and work on how to go over such a large package. And I would say that's the core team we're working with to make this a reality.
Okay, so look, the question you will have asked, and investors listening to this will be asking, is how do we know that this is a kind of strategic exploration portfolio that you've assembled, and not just a collection of very early stage ground or a big land package as such? So what exactly did you ask the team to get you? Because you're the guy that's got to finance this thing. And what sort of geological evidence was there that they are onto what you want?
Sure. So, I think it's important to clarify there's been very little exploration done in the area. I would say one of the things that drew us to this Malargüe district within Mendoza was firstly Cobrea exploration. They have 3 advanced targets in that district, and our flagship project, Las Estrellas, is 1.5 kilometers away from that target, where they started drilling, and they were the first movers. So I would say that was an initial indication that there was potential there. We then used information from Sehemar, open source, and doing some visits to try to figure out within that area which other projects looked prospective and looked like they could have potential. So high level, that's how we got the initial properties. But maybe Enrique, you want to chime in on some of the specific early stage characteristics that called your attention in this package of properties?
Yeah, I mean, geologically, this Malargüe district is part of the Chilean porphyry belt, to the west, other side to the border with Argentina. It's got the same sort of ages in Miocene age. About Miocene age, it's got similar structural setting to the porphyries in like El Teniente, 70 kilometers to the northwest. So Rosario Rengo property, porphyry also 30 kilometers to the west of our main target, Las Estrellas. Also, this is the continuation of the porphyry belt with the same ages that we see up in the San Juan district, San Juan province, where they have just recently found some of this very large, interesting porphyry properties like Uranawasi, very high grade, the Jose Maria porphyry, and the Pilor Sol prospect also on the border with Chile. So, looking at the alteration zones and the geology, it's a sort of continuation to the south of the San Juan district we're talking about, and to the east of the Chilean porphyry belt. And that's Ray said, not much exploration has been done because the province of Mendoza was against exploration and mining. So now with the new government, it's been opened up to exploration, and with a very important backing of the Mendoza province and the Milei government. So we got public information that has been processed. We got spectral, hyperspectral images being reprocessed by a very advanced software. We have the structural, physical information, also mostly public information. There's some data from previous companies like Vale, RTZ we're trying to get hold of, and like Vale in their reports, they mention 8 porphyry prospects in the district where we are now in Malaria. Some of them are apparently within Cobria's licenses to the west of our licenses. So it's very, and I would say we have got 26 licenses that complete this 150,000 hectares of property, and within these licenses we have about 45 alteration zones that have been identified. So the images with the color we see in the images, and also with the spectral processing, saying that we got phenic, argillic alteration, even some of them potassic alteration, like this El Perdido project to the southwest of our Estrellas project. So there's a lot of screening we're doing, ranking from with this criteria, like let's say geochem, available geochem, physical information from mainly MAC, regional MAC, and Aster and other spectral information that's public. So this season we are thinking in probably field checking 8 to 10 of these main targets that are being ranked. Also, as with these 8 projects, more or less, with the permitting in place now, that we can enter and do some basic drilling maybe, or even trenching. And the rest of the 26, as I say, 20 properties are probably going to be permitting in place to go ahead with the field work in the next season, let's say October 1927 to April 28. And we are possibly trying to do the geophysics, local geophysics on the Las Estrellas property next season. Get some IP resistivity, even TEM profiles to check for sulfide mineralization in depth. That's the main target for this next season. And the rest is just, field checking, sampling, mapping of the other 8 to 10 priority targets that being identified. And that's what I say, this is the main information I can tell you right now.
Okay, no, and that's fine. Look, Enrique, I appreciate that. Look, it's there's a lot there to kind of get through in terms of 26 different projects and with Las Estrellas trying to understand the geology and work out what to do. I know it's early days. Ray, you can I be clear about what company you're trying to be? Is this a case of we're going to work our way systematically through the 26 projects to try and kind of work out what we end up focusing on, or is this some sort of hybrid company which will be, looking for partners or looking to flip projects out? I mean, how do you see this playing out on a corporate level?
I would say it's somewhat of a hybrid. I mean, ultimately we're going to be advancing the targets, and we still don't know which the best target is. So that will be changing as we go. But if along the way good opportunities come to partner up with other groups or to have others help us, manage such a large package, like we're open to those structures. But I think you can't count on that happening. So you need to operate in advanced targets, assuming you're going to do it yourself. If it comes to that, we will. But we're never close to good opportunities.
Okay, but I know Mendoza from my days in oil up there and enjoyed a fair bit of good wine as well. But if it's just opening up to mining, obviously, what was that tell me? Is it sort of early days in terms of permitting? Is it early days in terms of social license? Or is this really just about first mover advantage in a geologically prolific area?
We're just starting to get this wave of openness by the government to get mining projects going. There was just a project approved in northern Mendoza called Cobre San Jorge, and that was going to be up and running relatively soon, which will be the first copper project in Argentina. So it puts Mendoza in the map. I think something worth mentioning is that there's an government agency called Impulsa Mendoza, and what they're doing is essentially helping the exploration companies sort of advance and build a pipeline of advanced projects that will eventually be able to be turned into mines. So, for example, one thing they did that was key is that they passed a blanket sort of large area for an environmental impact assessment that included, maybe 100 or 150 projects. And the constituents within that would be able to do prospecting work and early exploration work without themselves having to go and get the environmental impact assessment. So when you see direct government assistance and, just not only receptiveness, but they're pushing you to do it faster, to do it easier, to do it better, that's really a telltale that there's good things happening in the province for me.
But that's federally. So, but in terms of state...
that's state. That's province.
That's state. That's province-wise as well. Okay. So, fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit more about the kind of corporate structure? Obviously, you talked about one big group who've kind of come in. What are their expectations? Tell me about your kind of capital at the moment. What do you think your capital outlay is going to look like over the next sort of 12 to 24 months? What's everyone expecting from you?
Sure. So I say up to date, we've raised about 5.4 million Canadian dollars. That was done in a multitude of rounds. We just did a 1-for-3 split. So on this numbers, basically did a 3-cent round about a year and a half ago. Then we did an 8.3-cent round. Then we did a 16.6 round where we raised the bulk of the capital, about $3.8 million there. And then we did a 20-cent round where we raised another $600K, and that was right before the listing. Our stock is hovering around the 30s. So we've seen some significant sort of growth and reception to the story. I'd also say we have a pretty trustworthy and sticky investor base, investors from Latin America, from Europe, that are thinking about this in a longer term horizon, which I think helps the stock. I would say, capital needs for the next few months. There's a few ways to approach this, right? And I think this is where we need to be strategic on how we do it, because we have enough land where we could spend $10 million in the geological process. Do we want to blow the cap table yet? That's like, is it worth doing that all at once because you get that much more data and would advance your timing, or they want to take a more piecemeal approach where we go more gradually, spend a few million only in the geological campaign that we have starting in October, and be more targeted and precise. And I think there's value to sort of both of those strategies. We're figuring out exactly which is the best way to go. We closed our first transaction back in September, closed 3 transactions more since. So I would say we're building the strategy as we go, but I would say those are the 2 sort of goalposts, and then there's sort of everything in between to figure it out.
Right, and obviously, there's some great case studies that you've talked about in this conversation around you. Copper, is it going to be purely copper, or you also copper gold, or what's the target for you?
Purely copper porphyries.
Okay,
want to be very
porphyries.
specific and sort of find big structures. Yeah.
Okay, just want to be so clear what we're talking about. Ray, appreciate you kind of coming on so early in the story to kind of talk about this one. What am I going to hear from you about next? What's the expectation about what the team are going to deliver in the short term?
Sure. So we're going to be, putting out our initial methodology and plan on how we're thinking about the projects. There's going to be a plan sort of executed as soon as the snow clears up and we can start accessing our properties. We already have prospectivity permits and exploration permits in some of our properties. There's some work that needs to be done until we can go into the full package, namely the more recent acquisitions we did. But that's all going to be sort of advancing. So I would say, in the next few months, you'll be hopefully hearing about us going into the field, getting more data. Every little piece of data here helps, considering our data set is quite limited. So I think it's going to be quite eye-opening for us to give us much more information. The idea will be to next Argentinian winter, once access is not available, to really crunch that data and figure out what the best targets are. And then in the previous campaign, sort of hit the ground running and be able to do a much more expansive, targeted, and hopefully a drilling campaign if we have the requisite data.
Okay. Well, right. I appreciate your time today. Enrique, nice to meet you, sir, and look forward to hearing from you both.
Oh, welcome. Nice meeting you also, Matthew.